City of Forest Park, City Council meeting number 1414. Today is April 17th. The time is now 8 p.m. We are going to start by standing and saying the pledges of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item number one, will the clerk please call the roll?
Present.
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Okay. Let the roll show that all council members are present and accounted for. Moving on to item number two, which is the minutes. Has everyone received the minutes? Are there any changes or adjustments to be made? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to item number three, which is presentations, and we have two presentations today. So we're going to start with the first one, which is going to be presented by Councilmember Clark.
May have been a bad idea.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, good evening. Good to see all of you out here. You know, it brings me very much pride to present our second annual award to recognize a woman-owned business, the Majestic Woman in Business Spotlight Award. This award comes from the Minority Community Business Initiative, whose mission is in creating space, opportunity, access to resources and education for small business owners that are minority, veterans, and women. This award has been posthumously named after one of our dearest board members, Malachi Majestic Love Terry. For over 10 years, Malachi owned and operated iRepair Plus, an electronic repair shop in the city of Forest Park. He operated it with commitment and pride and a desire to always help build community and especially giving back to the youth. The woman receiving this award tonight has shown these characteristics and more. She embodies the spirit of hard work and dedication in this city. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about the backstory of who we are honoring today and just why. The Learning Garden Academy, everyone's familiar with it. It's next to, or it shares space with the Forest Chapel over there on Sharon Road. It's been in Forest Park, and this business was started in May of 2012. So for 11 years, she's provided care to young children. Her husband, Mike, currently they're both owners and operators of the Learning Garden Academy. The center has been very rewarding to them. They work endless hours to give children in our community the best early education experience that they can possibly have. What's very key about this is going from a home, startup, and childcare business to having a brick and mortar has been absolutely special, because in that, she became a 5-star Step Up to Quality Center in June of 2020, which is not easy to do. That means she met a lot of qualifications and exceeded them. The mission at the Learning Garden Academy is to provide a safe, loving, and nurturing environment for all children while teaching them about Jesus. They strive to provide opportunities for spiritual, emotional, and physical and cognitive skills that they will be able to build on throughout their childhood. And given any day, on a sunny, warm day, you can see them out there playing, and they have a good time. They had just posted something, they had all had a family meal. And so the people that work there have been there a long time, and they certainly give back as well. They provide enriching learning environments, and one thing that is somewhat of the motto that they live by is every child is a different kind of flower, and all together, they make this world a beautiful garden. It is with a great honor that on behalf of the Minority Community Business Initiative, we would like to present you the Majestic Woman in Spotlight Business Award. If some of our board members could come up, Trevina Adams and Savon, so that we can present this to her.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I am really happy to be here, and I'm honored to receive this, and just thank you. And I want to thank my Learning Garden family, Tina, who nominated me for this. She knows I'm very shy, so that's been the joke since this happened. I said one time, but my husband who does everything and really holds me down, and my daughter who's here, who is also hold me down every day at work. So, but I couldn't do it without my team, and I just thank you all for this opportunity. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making it.
She won hands down. She won with over 230 some votes from the community out of just 400. So she won it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Clark. We're going to move on to our next presentation, which is the Business of the Month Award. And this month, the Business of the Month is going to be the Hillman Group. So our April Business of the Month is the Hillman Group, an industry-leading manufacturer and distributor of hardware fasteners, work gloves, keys, and associated products, named for founder Max Hillman Sr., who started the company in 1964 to supply fasteners to independently owned hardware stores. Hillman today supplies over 40,000 customers, including home improvement centers, mass merchants, and national and regional hardware stores. Hillman was the first company to build a new facility in the Caroline Business Park, constructing a state-of-the-art distribution center in 2001, which was substantially expanded 5 years later and today includes 8 acres under roof. The distribution center, conservatively valued at $30 million, is one of the single largest contributors to the Forest Park's tax base. This year, Hillman again made a substantial investment in Forest Park by moving their corporate offices to 1280 Kemper Meadow Drive, the anchor location in the Kemper Meadow Business Park, And the building houses the company's executive team, administrative, sales, and support staff. Hillman's commitment to quality and service is something we have seen up close in Forest Park ever since the opening of the distribution center. And we are thrilled that the company will be headquartered right here in Forest Park as it continues to grow and prosper. So please join me in congratulating the Hillman Group Business of the Month for April 2023. It's not the best location. Here you go. Congratulations.
I'm Rod Smytunis. I'm the developer of their new headquarters. Taking this back to them tomorrow morning. But thank you very much. We brought them to Forest Park, and we're very, very happy with how we were treated and the outstanding administration that got us through the entire process.
We appreciate Hillman being in the city.
Thank you.
Yes, we do.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we appreciate our businesses and we always want to highlight them. I get you. All right, so that concludes item number 3, presentations. So moving on, we're going to go to item number 4, which is communications from the public. So this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. So when recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription, and comments are limited to 5 minutes. But this is also the time for people to quietly duck out if you do not want to see how the sausage is made. But please, if anyone has any comments or questions, anything you want to ask council or address council about at all, please come up to the podium, name, address, and then a quick 5 minutes, because we got a lot of items to get through. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Janetta Thomas, address 1314 Key Ridge Drive, and I'm here as a parent I have two daughters who attend Winton Woods City School District. We've lived here in Forest Park for about 14 years, but my oldest daughter, Janila, she's in 8th grade. She's had a very different experience from my youngest daughter, Ariel, who is 6. Ari happens to have Down syndrome, and a lot of the events and activities that are planned within the community here aren't necessarily directed towards people with disabilities. So I would just ask that as a council that you all work to advertise, accessible activities, sensory-friendly activities. I mean, I've got a ton of ideas, more than 5 minutes, so I can get with you all at another time, but I would just like that if you guys could think and help to keep the people with disabilities in mind.
Absolutely.
Thomas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please,
Thank you,
if you
Ms.
have any ideas, you send it right on to anybody on council or our city manager
Absolutely.
here, and
Yeah, please
we'll
do.
be happy to
Absolutely.
accommodate.
Good evening. My name is Urban Smith. I've been here once or twice before, and at the last time I was here, our kind, considerate, and understanding city manager explicitly stated that if I had any questions and they went to the wrong place, make sure I return them in to him. So I would like to, please, at your convenience, respond to what I think I thought I sent you at first. Thank you, sir. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
There you go, Don. It's not a summons, is it?
Not yet.
Oh, that's
That's the next.
A few questions?
Yes, more. Okay. Mr. Smith, yeah.
Yes. My name is Chris Smith. I'm part of the Blue Ocean Development Team, and I'm here tonight to really thank council for their support over the past year or so. We've been working on our project, and I wanted to, I was concerned about some things that came up in our last meeting. I wanted to kind of set some of the records straight on. I used to live in Forest Park on Lincolnshire, right? My backyard was the back part of this development that we're looking at. And Rafiq, your building inspector here, was the one who alerted me about the property. And Rafiq is a civil engineer, and he realized the challenge of developing this piece of property. So he told me about the CRA. He said, hey, you're gonna need some public funds to make this work. After our conversation, I saw him again 2 weeks later. He said, hey, did you check on that property? I said, look, I'm going to check on it as soon as we leave. And so I got a hold of the owner, and the owner agreed to sell me the property. Now, in the beginning, we were looking at doing financing through the port. The port didn't have a program that really fit what we were trying to do. I got with Don, and Don had been working on trying to figure out a way to make this happen. And so, with the help of the city manager here, and Harlita, who's been great, and like I said, the council members and mayor, we have found a way to do this and make it work. And I think the comment came up about, well, what's the difference in Milrose Station and this property? Well, this is the last piece of Forest Park. And the reason it's the last piece, because it's the most difficult to develop, because of the terrain where Milrose Station was just a flat field. This terrain is very hilly and up and down, and we got sewer that's located here where we have houses just down at this part. So we have to put in a lift station in order to make it work. Now, I can guarantee you that this is gonna be one of the prettiest subdivisions in the area because of its rolling hills, but it is also the most difficult one to develop. Now, during the time Milrose Station was developed, Forest Park had a pretty high rating with the school system. And today, that's not the case, not the case at all. So we had to figure out a way, how are we going to develop this tough terrain property, make it work so it's sellable to the builders and to the public at large. And so I thank God for the SIP loan that came available, because that's the only way that this project works. Now, my history here, again, I built youth land daycare. I helped Bobby Hilton to build his first Words of Deliverance church. So I've been around, and that's how Rafiq and I became friends over the years. So I wasn't a stranger to him, but he felt like, hey, Chris, if you get this property, they will support you. I said, how you know that? He said, look, they will support you. I said, okay, we'll see what we can pull together. Now, here we are today. I believe this will be a historical project for all of us. This is the first time in the history of the Home Builders Association that a minority company has developed a subdivision that's going to host one of the greatest home shows that Cincinnati has every year. When you go in their boardroom and you look at the history of the developers and the builders over the years who worked in different areas, they even had a Homerama here back in 1975. But now we got a chance to do something that's never been done in all of Greater Cincinnati, is to have a minority developer to host one of the biggest shows that we have in Cincinnati. And I would like to see everybody to support us. Because when the television stations come, 5, 9, and 12, and they will come, and the magazines, the Forest Park, I want everybody to be in that picture and saying, yes, I was a part of this historical moment. We've come too far. And I thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Just for context, Mr. Smith is going to be, we're going to vote on it tonight if it's going to go through, actually, but the development over on Waycross. I know a lot of residents have seen, if you drive down Waycross towards the western end of the city, towards Mill, but immediately behind the homes that were just recently built, that is the land that he was talking about in question. And that's going to be voted on tonight. So it will be, we'll see how that goes. All right. So are there any other members or residents that want to come forward and speak? All right, hearing none, we're going to close item number 4, and we're going to open up item number 5, which is reports of standing committees, and we're going to start with Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to you and council. I really don't have any reports to give at this moment, other than to encourage our residents to go on our official City Forest Park Facebook page. If you go to City of Forest Park, Ohio, local government, you'll be able to find activities and events and other things that are going on in the City of Forest Park, other information. So I just encourage everyone to please go on our City Forest Park page on Facebook. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, I have nothing else to give at this time.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember. I don't have any work session items for you. Do you have any to add?
Not
Next
at
work
this
session?
moment, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to Councilmember Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will say that that bourbon tasting was a very nice event over there at the senior center. I had a sip, and it's about all I can take at 410, but it was very nice. The only report that I'd like to give is a few weeks ago I had mentioned for work session summer youth programming and looking at working with the communities of faith in order to leverage our collective resources so that we can make sure that we've got some free activities for these kids throughout the summer. And we ended up having a meeting, our initial meeting that followed the week after that work session. I think 7 churches attended. We had our second to last meeting last Wednesday at Red Door Church, and it went very, very well. The churches have shown out, y'all, in a very, very, very beautiful way. So we've got Dayspring that's going to be offering a host of different sporting type activities, John Wesley baking, cooking classes, make it, take it's, and automotive type classes, sewing classes. There's the agenda is going to be chock full, and I am extremely excited to see everybody getting on board. Forest Chapel was there, Word of Deliverance was there. Of course, we had Red Door, John Wesley, and hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone, but I'm excited to be able to bring those things back so that we can share those with our community, because we don't have a community center, as we all know, but I see it as almost a deconstructed rec center. You've got large churches, large gymnasiums, and communities that really want to help, and so we need our kids to get as skilled as possible. The summer is a great time to do so and bring people together, so went really well, and I can't wait to report back on the listing, which will be available this Friday. We should have it all finished.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Clark. I don't have any work session items for you. Would you like to add any?
Just that I'll do a follow-up for some of you
All right.
to wrap up.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Moving on, we're going to go to Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, congratulations to the two businesses that got the awards this evening. As far as any reports, I have none at this time, but once again, I'd like to encourage our residents, if you would like to be a part of any of our boards or commissions or anything like that, please send in an application, and we'll have you in for an interview and get you engaged in this community. I have nothing for the work session at all either.
All right. Thank you for that, council member. And we're going to move on to First Vice Mayor Holt.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have a report today, but I do have a question for you, Don, City Manager. I noticed that on Mill Road, there's a lot of brush that's piled up on the Mill Road side, Mill Road Station side, that came from the west side. So whose responsibility is that? I didn't think it was a city.
That is, depending on where it's at, the road is in the township, the entire road. So both sides of the street, plus the west side of the street is the township as well, if you're talking around Mill Road Station.
Yeah, but Mill Road Station pay for that grass to be cut on the Mill Road Station side. And that's where the brushes are piled.
Do we know who piled it there?
I mean,
Just curious.
it had to have come from across the street.
Okay, I'll check into
saying.
it. Yeah, that's, obviously, they shouldn't be bringing brush across the street.
Exactly, because I
That's
think
not
that,
even our city.
I think they did the same thing last year or the year before.
Okay,
It's piled the brush they cut them on their side, put them on our side.
I'll have our,
And like I said, Muro Station pays to take care of
yeah,
that on our side.
I will have our public works guys look into that
Okay, great.
and see what we can find out, and if we need to remove the brush and put it back where it came from, we will.
We'll get there.
Don't think, move on.
I don't have any work session items for you, First Vice Mayor. Do you have any to add?
I do not, thank you. I'll help Don take those brushes back across the street.
All right, moving on to Second Vice Mayor, Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, congratulations to Melissa, well-deserved. We just want to thank you for your dedication to our community, and so we know all the hard work that you do for the children and the youth and adults in the community, so thank you very much. Okay. Also, Councilman Harris and I are in the planning stages of a veterans event.
Yes.
Both he and I are both veterans. I'm retired, he's still in with 30-plus years. And so, thank you for your service. But we are planning something for our residents and their families regarding Veterans Day. So we are in the planning process. Also, the quality of life met last month. And so we're excited. They have some amazing ideas and activities for our community. And we are in the process of applying for a grant,
Yes.
RFP. And so we're in the final, the beginning stages
Yeah.
of that grant process with Interact for Health. So we are excited for Interact for Health for opening up the opportunity for communities to apply for funding.
Right.
And so that completes my report.
Yeah, and for every grant we get, that's less taxpayer dollars we're spending. You know, just throwing that out there. So we are looking. And I don't have any work session items for you, Dr. Moore. Do you have any to add?
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you. And moving on to Councilmember Sylvester.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just to follow up in clarity from last meeting, question in regards to the Forest Park Senior Center and the use of the center for repass. There is a fee that's involved with the use of the center for repass. The form for access of the senior center is available on the website, but the city would like for residents to make contact with the city and to acknowledge in details of their request for the use of the Forest Park Senior Center, especially if it's involved with a repass, because there's a different process that's involved. I'm sure the city manager can clarify anything that I may state that's not totally in line, but there is a fee involved.
Okay.
But you need to contact the city and make your communication known of the use of this center. Make sure that it's clarified whether it's for an event, graduation, party, versus repass. When it's repass, it's a single flow of the process. It doesn't flow in the same manner with the other events. And also with the senior center and the program that's involved with seniors that are involved with the events that take place, there is a membership fee. And that membership fee is to support the events that goes along with the senior center and its programs. I'm still looking at getting the other area of information of the breakdown on that cost of the fee, of whether it has any involvement that would cover a part of the instructional price that if you don't have a Medicare type benefit coverage, that if you don't have that, then you got to pay this fee to participate. So I'm still clarifying that part, but we just want to speak on that to bring some clarity and to acknowledge that we're following up on the request.
Okay, would you like me to add that to the next work session?
No.
Actually, I have an answer to that.
Oh, you got to answer it right now? Okay, yeah.
I'll answer it here in a second.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, do you have any other items then?
No, sir.
All right. Well, city manager, if you want to address that really quick.
I will address that.
Yeah.
You remember at the last council meeting, we had an individual come up and ask a question with regards to our Silver Sneakers program.
Right.
And the cost of that and how it worked.
Right.
And a little history on that. Basically, when we were shut down for COVID, when it was opened back up in 2001, we took a survey as part of that process, and one of the biggest, number one thing that folks wanted that were members of the senior center was exercise programs. And so we committed to bring in an exercise program, which is the Silver Sneakers program. And it's probably, the Silver Sneakers is probably the gold standard in terms of senior activity. It's been around a while, it's pretty well known, and it is covered by many insurance companies, the cost of attending that. We implemented that program with the Senior Advisory Committee, full knowledge and full acceptance and pushing that they understand exactly what we were doing. We implemented the Silver Sneakers program. The Senior Advisory Committee agreed. The way we did it, in order to keep the price down and make it affordable for the entire community, health is a very important part of our strategic goals here. We do a lot of things that are related to health, not only for the youth, but also with regards to the seniors and everyone. But we try and do as many health-related activities as we can. This is one of them. In order to be able to offer this at a cost-effective manner, we have a certified instructor who is actually a longtime resident here at the city of Forest Park, who has taught this class for many years, who agreed to bring the class to our senior center to make it available for seniors who are members and non-members, and to basically make it easy, the access, for folks who are down there, for folks who want to come, and to provide a benefit to the community. At that time, we agreed with the instructor, in order to keep the cost down, that we would not pay the instructor. So the instructor is providing the services, and the only compensation she receives is the $3 per class that she charges, or whatever your health care will pay, if it's covered. So about half of the people are covered by their medical insurance, whether that's Medicare or whatever, and the other half are paying the $3 fee. Again, we also open that up to non-members, which we open up all of our programs to non-members as well, but we do not charge them any additional fee on top of that, because we want to make sure, number one, that we have enough people. We've got that critical mass. It's approximately 30 people. It's done 3 times a week, and we have a certified instructor. We have enough people there that it makes it cost-effective for everyone. If we had less people, the price would have to be higher. And the money that the senior citizens pay in membership, none of that money goes toward this. That money is then made available for other senior programs that they can use. And the city has no money in it as well. So it actually allows us to have other programs and spend our money in different ways where we don't have to pay for this program. But again, it's self-sufficient. The city does not pay the instructor. They do not have to be members to participate, because we want to make sure that there are enough people there to keep the cost down. If it was members only, there would be probably about half of the class. There's plenty of room for the 30 or so people that take it, and we think it's a great way to offer a cost-effective, easily accessible health program for our senior citizens throughout the community. The majority of the people, even though they may not be members, are actual Forest Park residents, so that our residents get a benefit from this program. Also, we believe that if people come and see and make friends there, that there's a high likelihood that they might just decide to join as well and take part in other senior center activities. So everything that's done down there also goes through the Senior Advisory Committee, of which Smitty is a member, and they've approved it. And are you not? Okay, I thought you were. They've approved it. You missed that meeting? Well, they've approved it.
On here it says.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
Mr. Smith.
The bottom line is that's the way the program works. It's open to non-members. It is one of the few, if not the only program that we did not require everyone that comes in to be a member. And that is so that we can have more people there to keep the cost down and spread it across a larger number of folks. The majority of the folks that are in there are Forest Park residents. They pay their taxes here. And again, the Senior Center Advisory Committee, who looks at all these programs, is on board with it and fully supports the way this thing runs. If we want to make any changes to it, we can review it every year, but until we make those changes, we'll make those changes not in the vacuum. We'll make them with the Senior Center members and their advisory committee, and have the best programs that benefit the most people for the community.
Okay. All right, thank you for that, Don. And thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. So that concludes item number 5, which is the reports for standing committees. Moving on to item number 7, which is the mayor's report. And I just would like to remind residents that we have continued our newsletter, The Progress. It comes out quarterly. So one just came out recently, and it's being sent out to residents kind of in waves. I know a lot of residents thought everybody was going to get it all at once, but people have been getting it at different times. But it just has a lot of information about the city, different departments that you can call, and a list of events that are upcoming in the summer, in the spring, including sports registrations. But please look out for your progress, because it has a lot of valuable information, and it keeps you updated on everything that the city is doing, hence the name, The Progress. So please be on the lookout for your newsletter. And in addition to that, yes, actually tomorrow I am attending in Washington, D.C., the African American Mayors Conference. So that's a part of the American Mayors Association. This is actually a first in the city history, so we're continue our historic trend of a lot of firsts happening for the city. So it's going to be April 18th through the 21st, and I'll be returning, so not next week, because we have work session, but the next council meeting, I'll give an update on everything that has taken place, but I already have a meeting scheduled with our congressional representative, Mr. Warren Davidson. And I also have a meeting with our former congressional representative, Greg Landsman, just to update them on everything that's happening in Forest Park and to see if we can get some federal attention down to our city. But I've also been invited to dinner. All of the mayors who are attending the conference have, but I've been invited to dinner with the Vice President of the United States, Mrs. Kamala Harris, so that's actually very exciting. So I'll take pictures, we'll put them on the city website and on all of the social media, and then you can say like, hey, our mayor is actually dining with the Vice President right now. So things are happening in Forest Park, things are moving. Like I said, a lot of firsts, but we'll continue to keep you updated on everything that we have going on. But that concludes my report, but I would like to add to the work session, we have to follow up with the food truck conversation. All right, and that concludes my report. So moving on to item number 7, which is the city manager's report. Don?
I'll keep it quick since I got half of my presentation already. We do have 2 new policemen that just started this week. Actually, they started at Monday, and they are in training right now. So as soon as they're done with training, it's about I think it's a 5 or 6 month process. And as soon as they're finished with that training, they'll be on the streets here. We've just wrapped up negotiations with our police unions, so we'll be bringing that for city council's approval here over their review over the next work session. So if you want to put that on the list, we should have the final document by then. The lawyers are drawing it up as we speak. If we don't, it'll be at the following meeting. We also have 2 new public works employees that just started, I think, last week. So that's going to help us through the summer and move forward. We do have the final 2 pieces of the new Ninja Warrior playground equipment. I call it that. It is the largest. I'm going to get this wrong, but I think I'll try and get it right. It's the largest piece of that Ninja style warrior type play equipment, not only in the state of Ohio, but actually in this region of the United States. So it's within the region. So it's a nice piece of equipment. If you haven't seen it, it's easy to see from Winton Road. We are going to be having the grand opening here, and we'll be letting everybody know about it, but we'll have a nice, there it is. I think it's the 28th, 29th, it's Saturday, whatever that day is. Saturday, 29th, 11:30, we'll be having our grand opening of that piece of equipment. And so we look forward to continuing the progress in that park. That is where we've received 2 grants. We want to thank our representative again, Jessica Miranda, for helping us get a grant for this. It's over $100,000. We also received another $100,000 that we're using for a walking trail within the park as well. That'll be starting here later this year. We have to kind of relocate one of the baseball diamonds and move some things around, not really locate the diamonds, but move some of the fencing and so forth. So we'll have a walking trail around there as well. And we're hoping that we can receive enough private funding with sponsors and so forth to begin our outdoor fitness court. So we hope to have a little bit more information about that over the next couple weeks. So we met with a prospective donor, and I think that it looks fairly well. It's fairly good in terms of what's going to happen. So we'll let you know how that goes. Other than that, everything's looking good, and we'll answer any questions anybody has.
All right, does anybody have any questions for our city manager? All right,
I don't have any questions, but I wanted to ask if our city manager could just briefly recap on the very exciting news with our library again, please.
Yeah, I'd be glad to recap that. For those of you who may not know, the Hillman County Public Library has committed to building one of their next-gen libraries. I think there's only 2 of them going in. This will be the largest library in their system that is not downtown. So other than the downtown library, that's over 25,000 square feet library, will be going in at 660 Northland. We've finalized the agreement with them, and we've already received some of the plans. We've got comments on them as well. So you'll see some ground getting broken here pretty soon this summer, And we look forward to having that library as a community asset. They're going to have maker space in there for folks. They're also going to have some large meeting rooms, I think over 400-person meeting room in there, that will be, that can accommodate our community. It allows us, one of the things that we need here, again, not having a community center, is a meeting room space. So this will allow us to have large community events in partnership with the library, and we look forward to partnering with them to program that library for many of the things that go on here, whether it's a historical society meeting, or if it's a large community meeting, or arts and cultural events that we hope to host there in partnership with the library. So look out for that. That'll be happening within that should be open with, I think, 2024, late 2024, October 2024, I think is the date. But they're going to be moving very quickly. Part of that agreement was a land swap, just so everyone knows. The old library will be coming to the city, and we'll take advantage of that. It's in good shape. And we hope to put that to a good purpose here for the community, and we'll be looking to, again, reprogram that building for various events, and we'll be looking for citizen input as to what should go on down there. So it's a pretty exciting time right now with this library. This will be one of the first development there, but we look at that as an anchor piece for that entire area, and we have a $100 to $150 million development that we just approved the developer on last week, or the last meeting, and so we look forward to bringing that to the citizens as well.
Thank
you.
Thanks for that, Don. Also wanted to mention that we have the tree planting ceremony again. I forgot to mention that in my report. That's going to be,
The 28th, we are a tree city. We're very proud of that, and we've been in it for at least, I want to say 25 years, 23?
Yeah.
30 years.
30,
So
yeah.
we've been a tree
Yeah.
city for a long time.
For a long time.
And Forest Park, by our name, commits us to that.
Yeah.
And so we will be having our Arbor Day celebration, and we'll be having our annual tree planting on the 28th.
All right.
We'll be planting a tree here on
In the
this
park.
campus.
Yeah.
Thank
All right.
you.
So moving on to item number 8, which is other reports, and we're going to start with our law director, Mr. John Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've been working with our clerk of courts on a review and change of certain procedures. Some of them have included our collections procedures for fine and court costs. Also, a review of our code section regarding duties of drivers approaching stopped emergency vehicles, trying to match that up with a higher revised code. And then also, as you probably all know, texting while driving or being on your cell phone is now a primary offense under state of Ohio law. Under our local ordinance, we still have not changed it to be a primary offense.
Okay.
So the subsection C of section 72.91 should be deleted by ordinance. And that would then eliminate the restriction we had on police that they could only cite people on their phone as a secondary offense. That if you read subsection C, it talks about what the police can't do. But if we eliminate that, then it becomes a primary offense and will be matching the state of Ohio. Also, I reviewed the land purchase agreement between the City of Forest Park and JA Development. That would be the end of my report, unless you have any questions.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Wyckoff. Does anybody have any questions for our law director? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to the other reports from our clerk of council, Mrs. Takia Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance numbers 13-2023 through 27-2023 and resolution number 17-2023 was posted as required. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. And I know that must have been a pretty difficult task because we do have a lot of items to get through on the agenda today. So
Yes, it
please
would.
bear with us as we go through all of these and try to follow procedure as best as possible. So I need a motion to suspend.
I'll read it.
A motion to suspend the rules requiring reading in full on two separate
Okay.
days and read by
Say it
title
again.
only, ordinance number 13-2023 through 25-2023. These,
I'm so sorry.
these ordinances were posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All right, hearing none. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester.
Yes.
All right, motion to suspend passes. Will the clerk please read ordinance number 13-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 13-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 1,252,000 street improvement 2023 program bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. Is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion for our ordinance number 13-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, we'll have a follow-up with each one of these, so we'll comment in regards to the 2023 annual budget. It contains several streets improvements for this fiscal year. The annual street improvements program include Flagler Lane, Lincolnshire Road, Smiley Road, and Ken Road. The access roads for the new library is also a part of the street improvement plan for 2023. And there are plans to upgrade traffic signal lights and purchase traffic control devices. Streets improvements, capital projects total the 1.2 mil. This note is being issued for the first time and will be combined with the other 5 new proposed ordinance numbers 14 through 18, and with the renewal purpose from ordinance number 19 into one noted total 1.2 mil.
All right, thank you. So will the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 13-2023 passes. Moving on, will the clerk please read ordinance number 14-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 14-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 275,000 stormwater improvement bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of the bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you for that. Is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion for ordinance number 14-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, as this being a part of the approved budget, the stormwater staff is in need of a mini excavator that estimated a cost of $110,000. There's also a plan for stormwater sewer systems improvements totaling $165,000, including curbs, catch basins, and manhole improvements. This also followed a sequence of being combined with the other 5 new proposed ordinance, number 13, number 15, and 18. So with that, I move that we adopt on the ordinance.
Thank you for that, Councilmember. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. All right, ordinance number 14-2023 passes 7-0. Moving on, will the clerk please read the next ordinance, number 15-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 15-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 391,000 park improvement bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, is there a motion, council member?
Yes, I motion ordinance number 15-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That this ordinance is to support the improvement of Central Park, Kemper Meadows, and Bruce Ferguson. This will also have improvements planned for the Central Park playground area. Parking improvements, as noted, totaling $391,000. This also has a point of a combining of the ordinance number 13, 14, and 16 through 18. So with that, move that we adopt on the ordinance.
Thank you for that. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Harrison?
Yes.
Holt?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Sylvester?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 15-2023 passes 7-0. Moving on, ordinance number 16-2023. Will the clerk please read that by title only?
Ordinance number 16-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 466,500 building improvement, police bond, anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion on ordinance number 16-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That this ordinance deals with the building improvement that needs to be done with the police department building, the renovation and redesign of the entranceway and the lobby. This was started back in 2020, and it's planned to be complete in this year, 2023. The roof of the building needs to be replaced, along with some carpeting on the first floor of the building. And there's plans to upgrade the women's locker room and repave the parking way. And as noted, the cost is estimated $466,500. So with this, I move that we adopt on the ordinance.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Holt?
Yes.
Moore?
Didn't she say oh?
I said Holt, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did we ask for discussion on that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We did. I
Did you have a
understand.
discussion?
I just had I'm sorry, I apologize. Just a question. I think last time we talked about this, there was a question about the cost of that roof.
Mhm.
If there was if we were able to do something more permanent versus
This-
something more temporary. I may have missed that.
This is a
Sorry.
permanent roof. It's a complete
Okay.
rebuild of it. It's a
Okay.
commercial flat roof.
Okay.
And when we get to the final design of that, I have asked, to ask Mrs. Holt's question about any kind of redesign on that roof, if it would be more cost-effective. It is not a 5-year roof. It's a regular commercial, 20-year roof. It has to be maintained because it's a flat rubber roof. And so you have to go back there and maintain it, but this is, you can only put so much, you can only build it up so high if we have to rip it off.
Yeah.
And this is rip-off time. This is the time to pull it off and rebuild it. And so you can still repair it, you can still go back in there. And I think what the finance director was talking about was, the annual, the maintenance process, but it's not you don't come back and spend several $100,000 every 5 years to redo the roof. You just maintain it to make sure that it's, just like you would your own roof. Make sure that it's, holding, doing what it's supposed to do and not deteriorating and doing what you have to do to extend the life of it. So it's a complete rebuild. And, but yes, we're not committed to anything right now. We're still in the
phase.
planning and design phase right now.
Yeah, for the scope of this ordinance is just to allocate the money, and then we'll address that when we speak with the architect when they coming up with the development for the plans.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
But will the clerk please start the roll over? Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Okay, Holt?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Sylvester?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 16-2023 passes 7-0. Moving on, will the clerk please read this next ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 17-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 195,000 building improvement bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion for ordinance number 17-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Well, this ordinance also, excuse me, has improvements to the municipal facilities other than the police department building. There are plans to improvements with the elevator at the city hall, and as well as heating, ventilation, and air conditioning replacement at the senior center. We are planning parking lot repaving at the Public Works Street Division facility. And as noted, the total municipal facility improvement is $195,000. This note will also be combined with the 5 notes of ordinance number 13 through 16 and 18. So with that, we move on to ordinance. I've done a lot of talking today with my work, and it's proven.
All right. All right, we appreciate that. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 17-2023 passes 7-0. Moving on to ordinance number 18-2023. Will the clerk please read that by title only?
Ordinance number 18-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 175,500 technology improvement bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. Is there a motion, and does someone want to give Councilmember Sylvester a break?
I'll motion for ordinance number 18-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That is involved with the improvement of the city network. You know, we've got
Yeah.
core switches, security devices. Security is a key factor, especially protecting the city information.
Absolutely.
So with that being the basis of this ordinance, I move that we adopt ordinance number 18-2023.
Thank you for that, Councilmember. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 18-2023 passes 7-0. Moving on to the next ordinance, will the clerk please read that by title only?
Ordinance number 19-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 4,824,000 various purpose bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion for ordinance number 19-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, I recommend and welcome new housing developments for the city of Forest Park. I have concerns that this agreement with this private company, the Waycross FP LLC, coming before us today is not in the best interest of the citizens of the city of Forest Park. I believe we should explore better agreements with this developer or another developer that will protect the citizens. In addition, the current developer, the Waycross FP LLC, has yet to provide this body with evidence of building out a community of this magnitude. only perception. I am unable to find evidence that the developer has ever developed a housing community of this magnitude. Their lack of experience exposes the citizens of the city of Forest Park to higher debt risks for the agreed amount of $4,824. I welcome any questions for my evidence or lack of evidence. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Moore. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes?
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
No.
Sylvester.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 19. Ordinance number 19-2023 passes 6-1. All right, will the clerk please read the next ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 20-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 7,579,000 various purpose bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. Is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
A motion ordinance number 20-2023.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That this ordinance is a final tax exempt debate ordinance that combines the previously newly issued notes with the one renewal note. This is simply a consolidation of all the tax exempt bonds, anticipation notes into one various purpose note, totaling 7.5 mil.
This is for,
This is necessary for accounting
what is this for?
purpose of managing the notes.
Thank you for that. Will the clerk, I'm sorry.
Point of order.
Yeah.
I think Councilmember Moore was,
So,
was
the way the information was presented to council in the language was very confusing.
Yeah.
And so, can we go back and?
she'd like to revise her vote on number 19.
All right,
I don't know what the process is.
Yeah, we'll have to address our
John,
parliamentarian.
it's too late.
law director.
So can we look at the numbers, because the numbers
The-
aren't matching up.
the-
The numbers aren't matching up with,
And
yes,
I think it missed,
yes.
Yeah, this is, see, this is,
4.3 versus
this is the, no, this is not the, if we could have like just a second.
Yeah, we'll just have to.
right.
Okay, but if you
It's
look
just
in
close to
the,
same number.
but if you look in the agreement of the Waycross agreement,
It's
this
pretty
number
close.
pops up, the exact number. Yes. If you look at the agreement, this number is the exact same number as
It's pretty
this
close.
ordinance.
I don't think it's the same. Yeah, I don't think it's the same.
You want me to bring it up?
No, I believe you, but, I mean, I got it here.
So
Well,
can we
yeah,
get the
yeah.
correct amount for the,
You referring to
Waycross.
the amount on ordinance number 19-2023?
2023.
The 19's correct. I'm looking for the development agreement.
so should we?
Yeah, here it is here.
Yeah, this is the one from last week.
Oh, it'd be the civil
Mhm, but
piece.
these bonds are for roads.
Mhm. Excuse me, yeah, we have our bond attorney here. You have the note. Well, we're looking for the development agreement.
This right here. So here's one.
Oh, the SIB loan amount, yeah.
That's the SIB loan amount, yeah.
That's pretty close. It's 4328.
And that bond
It's
is-
four,
But that bond is for the
4823.
roads. But the bond, this bond on
Oh, that's really
19 was for the
close.
road.
That's a decimal point. Yeah, that's pretty, that's the annual warehouse.
See,
But
here
that's a
it is.
point, not a comma.
It's the total amount.
Which one?
Oh, that one is,
No, you want to take maybe a 5-minute recess?
yeah, we're just gonna take a 5-minute recess really quick. Dana, if you can, just play some music, just to play us off while we get this situated. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, the bond one is correct.
She had questions about ordinance number 19.
Oh, there's the amount.
This amount, I think.
Well, it's adjourned, so.
Well, even if we recess, it's still, because we're still
Yeah.
discussing city business.
Okay, a good point. No, that's all, the loan stuff is right. You may be able to. Hey, John,
Yes,
we decided to go into an executive session to kind of clean this out.
yeah, it has to be on the agenda.
Just be right, okay. Yeah,
I have the
development agreement.
I have the development agreement right here, if you want to look at this. Development agreement.
Yeah, that's what we've been going through. It's this right here. There's maybe it's the special assessment.
This had something to do with something totally different.
It's just really close. I just want to make sure there's not a typo in there.
So this one here is for.
Is this number here should be filled out if there's a number.
Outstanding notes.
That's the,
Yeah. Yeah, remember Harlita was saying that last time?
Right. So that has nothing to do with them. I think that's what the concern is.
No, I think she thought this one was the SIB loan.
Right, right,
But this is for the road.
right,
that might be in the whereas portion.
Outstanding notes.
right.
And then the SIB loan one, I think we already approved that one.
Yeah, SIB loan's already been approved.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not on the
that's not
agenda.
that- Yeah.
It just looks like the exact,
That's-
it's really
that's what I-
close. It's
yeah,
almost
that's
just
what
a
I was
number
thinking.
turned around.
The development agreement is 25. No, 24.
But that looks like it though.
Yeah, that's not really,
You know, I've done that. I had the same thing. I thought that was $4.8 million, but I kept reading it.
Yeah, I know, but
Right.
because, you know what I'm saying, because she thought that was a SIP loan, that's why she was
Right.
protesting that. But
Yep.
we approved the SIP loan because even if this development doesn't go through, we'll still get the SIP loan money for any other,
Right.
you know, public infrastructure.
Yep.
But the 7 million is the
Yeah.
notes that,
Yeah, outstanding.
Carlita was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
The $7,579,000?
Yeah, it was for outstanding notes that Carlita mentioned last.
purposes, okay.
Mhm.
All right.
All right, is everybody ready?
It's just, Dr. We're still looking for something. Can I help you?
Don, there are a couple things that I gotta run by you though. We don't have to discuss it now, but I found a nonprofit that is gonna be really good.
Okay.
And then,
Well, it's.
You said Compass?
Yeah, have you heard of them?
That name sounds so familiar. Compass Square.
But it's if,
Like, I'll explain later. It's a really good nonprofit though. Okay.
Because there are too many numbers here. There are too many numbers.
it is, that was a typo. That's what it was.
So what I'm looking for, I believe there's a typo regarding the amount, when reading over the ordinance. And so that's what I'm trying to locate, is the typo.
I think the bond ordinances, 19 through what, 23?
It's a typo here. I don't know if that's what.
I think they're correct.
That's a typo.
That's a
on-
typo.
That's the memorandum, but on the,
Right.
Yeah.
Ordinances with the money amount, and there's no confusion, and so that's what I'm
yeah,
looking for.
yeah, I understand.
Before we pass it, yeah.
I understand.
We have our
On the
monitor here,
memorandum,
Brenda.
it is.
Yeah.
2023 is the renewal of outstanding notes already that have been issued in various years for road projects, fire equipment acquisitions, building improvements, park improvements, computer equipment acquisitions, and the city has issued millions of dollars in debt, and they pay some off each year, and then they add some new to it, and this is the outstanding balance of those prior projects which are still being paid for by rolling the notes. 2023 will then consolidate the renewal of the outstanding along with then all the new projects that have just been discussed. 13 through 18 are all new projects
Right.
this year. This will be the first time
Yeah.
they're being financed. 19 is the renewal of previously financed
Combining those.
projects. None of these projects in 13 through 20 are related to any economic development.
Right.
At
Right.
all. Now, there will be, the next ordinances which are taxable are related to economic development, but
Mhm.
not this project.
Other
Properties
pro-
the
right.
city is buying for other purposes
Mhm.
are what 21, 22, and 23 will relate to.
Right.
And they're in a different category because they'll be taxable. 13 through 20 is able to be issued as tax exempt because they are all for purely governmental purpose
Right.
projects.
Right. Thank you.
Are you comfortable with those numbers? Okay.
It's just pure coincidence
That they're really
the renewal
close.
of the outstanding projects is similar to the amount for the SIB loan.
SIB loan.
And the development that is later in the agenda.
Yeah. Correct. Dr. Moore, are we on the same accord? We'll have to resume the agenda items. So continuing with new business, will the clerk please read ordinance number 20-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 20-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 7,579,000 various purpose bonds, anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Bailey. Is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion ordinance number 20-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That as it's stated, that this is a final tax exempt debate ordinance that combines the previously newly issued notes with the one renewal note. This is simply a consolidation of all the tax exempt bonds, anticipation notes into one various purpose note totaling $7.5 million. This is necessary for the accounting purpose. So with that motion, I adopt. A motion to adopt.
Thank you for that, council member. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Abstain.
Dr. Moore, by council rules, so you're actually required to vote unless there's a basis for your abstention, such as a conflict of interest.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ordinance number 20-2023 passes 7-0. Moving on to ordinance number 21, will the clerk please read that by title only?
Ordinance number 21-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 850,000 real estate acquisition bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion for ordinance number 21-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That this ordinance is planned for acquisition of property in the city. The property will be land banked until the variable use can be found. They complete with the city redevelopment plan.
All right, thank you for that. Will the clerk please read? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt? It's been a long night.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. All right, ordinance number 21-2023 passes 7-0. I'm really excited about that. Moving on, will the clerk please read this next ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 22-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed 1,285,000 real estate acquisition bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Is there a motion? Councilmember Sylvester.
Yes, I motion ordinance number 22-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
That this ordinance reflect the reissuance of taxable notes that are remaining outstanding for the capital project for the prior year. The outstanding prior year balance is $1.5 million, and we have a planned pay down of $255,000, resulting in $1.2 million needed to be reissued. This outstanding note for prior year land acquisitions that may be redeveloped in the near future. So with that, moved on the ordinance.
Thank you for that, council member. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore. Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 22-2023 passes 7-0. Will the clerk please read the next ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 23-2023, an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $2,135,000 real estate acquisition bond anticipation notes by the city of Forest Park, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you for that. Will the clerk, is there a motion?
Yes, motion for ordinance number 23-2023.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
This is a final taxable debate ordinance that combines the previously newly issued notes with the one renewal note. This is a consolidation of all the taxable bond anticipation notes into one various purpose note totaling $2.1 million. And this is necessary in support of accounting.
All right, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Holt,
Yes.
Moore. Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 23-2023 passes 7-0. Will the clerk please read ordinance number 24-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 24-2023, an ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a development agreement for the Waycross Development Project and declaring an emergency.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 24-2023.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Just for further discussion, this is the development in question. We believe that this poses a tremendous opportunity for the city. We also believe that this is limited risk for the city, but the developer is to build no less than 60, no more than 65 single-family detached style homes, luxury style homes. This is going to be a new subdivision for the city. In addition to that, we have reached an agreement with the developer that they do the best that they can to get City Rama to come to the city of Forest Park in 2024. I believe that this is an incredible opportunity, and this is 35 acres of developable land. It's going to bring a lot of new residents. It's going to bring luxury homes, and it's going to bring opportunities that the city has never seen before, quite frankly. And with that, I urge adoption of this ordinance.
I have a couple things I'd like to say as well, if that's okay. So I feel very informed about this entire process. I think that it's been long in nature, but I think it was also necessary. It was very complex, and I want the residents of Forest Park to also know that, we have some pretty good warriors on this team as well. We had people that were working night and day in these offices that were bodying y'all. I mean, hey, it's business as well, but they really, really worked hard in making sure that we were mitigating our risks as much as humanly possible for every conceivable thing that we could muster up or think about as a city. I am satisfied that we've been able to cover those things. It is a little bit of a cherry on top to be able to have it associated with a minority developer, because you've got to be able to have those opportunities to grow and to develop, to do new things. I also want people to realize that this is not also not a, it's not necessarily free, right? There's a special exception that is, there's a special exception that's going to be, special assessment, that these folks are going to also have to pay. And and I think the biggest thing that we were concerned about was that CRA and the special assessment, making sure that they were in alignment so that we don't have double extreme payments on these homeowners at Forest Park. And I think we've been able to satisfy that. And that was the biggest issue and holdout for me. And so there's always going to be a degree of risk. I think we've whittled it down to as much as humanly possible and done our due diligence on it. And so I am looking forward to the development.
If I
All right, thank
may,
you.
Mayor Brown,
Yeah.
uh,
Councilmember.
this is my second year, my first term, and this is one of the biggest, grandest endeavors that I've had the opportunity to have any say or participation in since I've taken this seat. I don't take it lightly. I have listened to council. I have listened to our city manager, our finance officers, our legal counsel, our advisory committee on this project. I have faith that this project is going to do exceptionally well. As a councilwoman in this seat, I need this project to do very well. 15 years from now, 20 years from now, whoever sits in this seat, I want them to feel good about the decision that we made tonight, that we will make tonight, given that it will pass. So please don't take that lightly. Please, every brick that you lay, every piece of concrete, every pipe, every wire that you put into those homes, please know that it is done. Please make sure that it is done with the attention and the detail that you would have in your own personal home. This is nothing to sneeze at. This is a huge project. I don't think I've ever seen that much money ever in my life. And to be able to have say on how we spend it, we need this project to be better than grand. Thank you.
Dr. Moore?
Thank you. For the record, I welcome new housing development for the city of Forest Park. I am unable to find evidence that this developer has ever developed a housing community of this magnitude. They lack the experience and exposes our citizens of Forest Park to a higher debt risk for the agreed amount. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, May 2022, businesses fail in the first year, 18% of businesses fail. By year two, 30.6% of businesses fail. By year 5, 49.7% of businesses fail. And after 10 years, 65.5% of businesses fail. This is a new business. This is a private business. And it is our responsibility to protect the citizens of Forest Park. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Moore. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Moore,
No.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 24-2023 passes 6-1. Moving on, will the clerk please read ordinance number 25-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 25-2023, an ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a construction manager at-risk agreement for the Waycross Development Project and declaring an emergency.
Yes, I move that we adopt ordinance number 25-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. This is just really for the same ordinance above. The developer in question is going to act as the construction manager overseeing the development of the land so that they can then sell the land or attract new builders, very large-scale luxury builders to the development. And with that, I just would urge adoption. Will the clerk please call? Is there any further discussion? Yeah.
Real quick, on the last ordinance was a development agreement which puts together all of the pieces of the development, all of the agreements, all the expectations. This in particular, this is the construction manager's at-risk agreement. This is part of that. It's referred to within that agreement. This is where a lot of the protections for the city in terms of if they are unable to complete the project, it'll have all of the warranties, the requirements for warranties, the completion bonds, all of those things are kind of spelled out in here. Now, we have them in our ordinances already.
Right.
Through the city, but it basically acknowledges that they are going to
Meet this
follow these standards and meet these standards. And if, for instance, there is something that happens and they're unable to complete the project, the city can step into their shoes and use those funds. For the road, correct. For the road, make sure that the road gets put in properly and built properly. These are, the city's on the hook for the for the
Public infrastructure.
public infrastructure. All the private infrastructure is the developer as well, and the builder. So that's how these agreements and these ordinances will be flowing. This is a part of the bigger development agreement that talks about how they're going to build it on the public infrastructure side. Just so the public would know kind of what these things are a little bit.
Right. And all of this information can be found up on our website, and they are posted in public reading places as well. But will the clerk, or is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams. Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 25-2023 passes 7-0. All right, I need another motion to suspend the rules.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules, requiring the reading in full and read resolutions number 17-2023 by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Only that this resolution was posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
All right, thank you for that.
You want me to explain it a little bit?
Well, this is just on the motion
Oh, I'm
to
sorry,
suspend. Will
excuse
the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester.
Yes.
All right, motion to suspend passes 7-0. All right, will the clerk please read resolution number 17-2023 by title only?
Resolution number 17-2023, a resolution declaring the necessity of acquiring and constructing certain public infrastructure improvements consisting of public streets, including necessary stormwater, sidewalks, curbs and gutters, traffic signalization,
Yeah.
and other necessary appurtenances.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
I motion resolution number 17-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Don, you wanted to?
Well, just again, for the city council's talked a lot about this, but for the people who are watching, the next three pieces of legislation kind of go together. Really what we're talking about here is the ability for the city to assess the property a certain amount per year for 15 years to cover the debt service on the loan that's going to pay for the road. This is part of the financing program, as well as a TIF, a tax increment financing district that was created earlier in the year. And these next three pieces of legislation allow those special assessments to be assessed by the city, again, to help pay for debt services with regards to the loan.
All right, thank you for that, Don. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
All right, resolution number 17-2023 passes 7-0. All right, and I need another motion to suspend.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only ordinance number 26-2023 and 27-2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Only that these ordinances were posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Thank you for that, First Vice Mayor. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt? To adopt. Suspend, rather.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yeah.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. All right, motion to suspend passes 7-0. Will the clerk please read ordinance number 26-2023 by title only?
Ordinance number 26-2023, an ordinance determining to proceed with the acquisition and construction of public streets, including necessary stormwater, sidewalks, curb and gutters, traffic,
Traffic, yeah.
this is a lot.
Signalization.
Traffic, oh my goodness. Signalization and other necessary appurtenances.
We got there. We got there.
It's been a long
There-
day.
It's
I'm
been a
not like
day.
you.
We almost there though. Is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion ordinance number 26-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I'll let Don speak on these last two.
Well, these, again, they go with the special assessments. This is the notice of the ordinance to proceed, which basically says we're going to assess the properties for the cost, or a portion of the cost of the road. And this says, okay, if we're going to assess them, then there's a necessity to proceed. And
Right.
we're going to move forward with assessing the property and building the road. That's what this piece basically says. But all three of them go together. You have to have all three or you can't do any of it.
Thank you for that, Don. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Abstain. Can I abs-
Doc,
Did you say abstain?
Mhm.
Doc,
I did-
Is there a basis for that?
No.
Then by council rules, you have to.
Okay, no.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
yes.
Clark.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 26-2023 passes 6-1. All right, and will the clerk please read this last ordinance, number
Yes.
27, by
Ordinance
Title only.
number 27-2023, an ordinance levying special assessments for the purpose of acquiring and constructing certain street and related improvements in the city.
All right, is there a motion, Councilmember Sylvester?
Motion ordinance number 27-2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion?
This is the actual levying ordinance. This allows us to actually go down to the county and certify the assessments on each of the property.
Right.
Again, this is part of the debt service. The money generated from the project will be used to pay the debt service on the project, as well as the TIF money, trying to keep the schools whole as well. So there's no other city funds anticipated being used in this project, only money created by the development that will stay with the development and pay for these, this project or the public infrastructure of this project. So this is the ability for us to assess the property owners, which is the developer, the property owner, and future property owners, the cost of the project. And this is actually the document that allows us to take downtown and give it to the county.
All right, thank you for that, Don. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
No.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 27-2023 passes 6-1. And then I need a motion to receive the general fund summary report. Councilmember Sylvester?
Yes, I motion that we receive the general fund report.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, let it be known by the sound of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes 7-0. All right, and that concludes all of our new business. So is there any other business to come before the body? Is there any other business to come before the body? Is there any other business to come before the body? All right, council meeting is adjourned.